Welcome back. Today I want to talk about acceptance and why is it so difficult. So let's see. So acceptance and why is it so difficult? So what I want to talk about today is that when you're in a situation where you're not wanting to let go of ideas, goals, dreams or hopes, just to sort of, you're kind of clawing onto something because you don't want that situation to end, and it's hard to accept that that thing has ended, or that thing should end, or that thing is over. Now I've touched on this before where I've sort of mentioned that idea of not wanting things to be how they are is the sort of fundamental cause of all stress, and that's true. And this is kind of sits alongside that, because whereas it's very easily to think logical and go, okay, well, this thing that was going on has now finished. I can see why it's finished. It's ended. That all makes sense. It's a very, very different thing and difficult thing to then think of the same idea but in a non-emotional way, because as soon as you put emotions into something, things take on a whole new world of power and things just sort of spiral out of control. So a classic example will be a relationship ends, and if it's not your decision, or even if it is your decision, either way, there's a reason that the relationship has ended. Now, whatever side of if you're the dumper or the dumpee, so either way there's going to be some sadness, because obviously the situation was there, it was probably a happy situation, but it's come to an end for whatever reason. Generally the dumpee will sort of feel probably more sadness and upset etc than the dumper. I'm not saying they don't, but so there's a sad feeling and emotions. Now, I said whilst logically it might make sense that this relationship is over, no matter whether you're the dumper or the dumpee, it may seem logical and you might be able to understand the logical reasons why this has happened. As I said, the thing with emotions is it just sort of amplifies everything to the sort of millionth degree, and the problem is that emotions kind of control everything, and it's hard to sort of separate the emotion out of it. This is where the benefits of stoicism and just general stoic thinking come in, because it kind of allows you to sort of separate yourself emotionally from the event, to look at it very objectively and see exactly what's going on, perhaps from a logical way, but allows you to look at it without the kind of interference of emotion, good and bad, so you can make a more informed decision or take action on that thing from a better perspective. When it comes to a situation like a relationship ending, it's going to be the point where ultimately it's accepting that situation and coming to terms with it, but accepting that, yeah, that's finished, that's going to be no more, and the classic phrase is, to move on. This is where the difficulty comes in, because it's that acceptance of that fact is almost like the unclimbable mountain, the thing you just can't do, because whilst logically that makes sense, you can see in all the logic in all the world, you're never going to get back together again. That's it. Emotionally, the idea of kind of closing that chapter, the idea of sort of stopping perhaps the slightest hope that could ever happen and you could get back together again, and giving up on the concept of that, and just kind of closing that book, accepting it and saying that was that, it's never going to happen again, move on. That is the difficult thing, and that is so hard, the acceptance of that kind of. And I said that's why I mentioned about sort of giving up on dreams, goals, hopes, desires, and accepting. Because one thing I like to, I suppose, promote, talk about, and I totally believe in, is having those dreams and aspirations and goals of achieving anything. This kind of goes against that. And this is where I've been sort of perhaps struggling with this whole thing, because the idea of anything's possible, you can achieve anything, if you put the right effort in and just keep going at it and be consistent, etc. And then the idea of, well, at some point you've got to accept it's not going to happen, literally is completely contradictory and cuts that totally in two. So how do these two fit together? Well, that's the question. And that's the difficult thing that I've personally been, to a degree, struggling with recently, because this idea of this video came to me, and I thought, well, let's explore this. So I'm kind of exploring it live, if that makes sense. I think the problem is that the concept of giving up on an idea, giving up on a dream, a goal, or something like that, is something that I struggle with. I'm painfully stubborn, and I do truly believe that if you want to do something, you want to achieve something, you just got to keep going, and almost be completely tenacious like a honey badger and just go for it. But and that eventually will get you the result. The overriding thing of that is never give up. Despite logic or anything like that, never give up. That's it. Just be tenacious, never give up. So when it comes to then giving up on the idea of a relationship getting back together again, or something else that's kind of perhaps logically intangible and it's not going to happen, that kind of acceptance and that giving up of the idea is something that I think is very difficult, even though it's never going to happen. And I'm not saying that I've got this little glint in my mind going, well, maybe one day, because it's not even that as such. It's just the concept of giving up that I struggle with. That's from a sort of a tenacity point of view, or just being damn stubborn, wherever it comes from. It's not the fact that I've got this kind of idea that maybe one. No, that's not there. But the 100% acceptance, and therefore the acceptance of that, and saying that's not going to happen, and accepting that means I'm giving up on it, even though I'm not actually thinking that I want that or going to do that, if that makes any sense. So hopefully you can kind of relate to this, or not. Leave me a comment below if this makes any sense to you. It's the concept of that acceptance and that finality, which means I'm forever kind of giving up that idea. Now, where this comes into the actual battle that I'm having at the moment is that's one aspect of it. But the other aspect of it is, at the moment, I've got this kind of scared feeling of that kind of giving up on something, which, as I just explained, because I just hate the idea of giving up on something. But that's also balanced with a feeling of kind of excitement of something's going to happen, or scared, excited feeling that something's going to happen. This is almost like a conversation I had a couple of weeks ago with someone about to actually do anything, whether it's leave a relationship, start a business, do anything kind of major in life that actually means something to you, and it's something that you really truly want to do and follow your dreams and kind of go for it. You have to make that jump, and I'm equally guilty of going, oh no, and not making that jump. And it's that point now I think I'm at where I'm sort of clawing, I'm right near the edge, and I'm sort of clawing on to the edge with that sort of fear of jumping off, because the idea is you jump off and then the parachute will appear, or the wings will appear, and everything's going to be lovely. But unless you make that jump, you'll never, and I'll never know. And then you're potentially in that land of what if only kind of thing, which is nothing worse than the world of regret. But I'm clinging because there's that fear of letting go and it not appearing, but there's also the excited feeling now, which has grown more of it, let's just jump. Yeah, literally in the last few days or a week or so, that excited feeling of changes on the horizon is coming up, and is kind of now pulling at that of my fingers on the edge, going jump. So that's exciting, that something is about to happen, something's about to take off. And so that's driving me with the other side of it, of the giving up and letting go and accepting. So it's gone a bit meandering, this conversation, but it's that acceptance is so difficult, because that means like an end of a chapter, an end of something, but it also means the start of something else. And often it's very easy to only see the thing that's ending because you're sort of looking back, and we're all guilty of it. No one's more guilty of it than me. But you're kind of looking back, you're wishing, if only that hadn't have done, or if only I'd have done this or not done this, and maybe that situation could change. Maybe even if you're not consciously thinking about it, maybe subconsciously thinking, there might be something to kind of restart the thing that's ended. But what you have to understand, and this is what I'm now in the process of kind of understanding, is that without letting go and accepting that, there's not going to be anything there, and that parachute won't appear unless you jump out the plane or off the cliff, wherever the metaphor is. That's scary on both sides, because one, it's the letting go, the accepting, drawing a line under it and all that stuff, but it's also the scary, exciting thing of this bit over here to come. And that piece, it feels like it's out of nowhere, has kind of come up and is sort of surrounding me now, which I'm glad of, because it's a nice feeling. I said yesterday, I'm sort of starting to feel good. I'm feeling kind of in a good place, and a lot of that is to do with this other thing that's kind of pulling me off the cliff, as it were. It's so weird because you think you know yourself, and then something will sort of come out of nowhere and you're like, wow, I was not expecting that. And you know, and here I am. So I suppose the point of all this is saying about how, yeah, that acceptance of something that's over. I suppose the message of this is, and I've sort of mentioned it once, I like to repeat myself if you know me, that whilst that acceptance of something being finished and over and done with is so difficult, and I truly empathise with you, because I'm there at the moment. Without that letting go, you can't do the new thing that's just round the corner. And it could be anything, you know. If you're holding baggage, which is a good kind of metaphor for stuff in life, you can't pick up new baggage unless you let go of the old baggage. However you want to do it, you can't fill up your cup with a nice hot cup of tea unless you pour away the old cold tea. There's loads of metaphors, but you get the idea. So yeah, that making that cut, and that's often hard, and it is hard, and I know it's hard because I'm exactly where I am at the moment. I'm sort of excited as well, so hopefully I'm going to make the right decision. I mean, it's not really a decision to make, but you know what I mean. So that's it for today. Hope you got some value from this. If you have, don't forget, as always, hit that like button so it's nice and blue. Subscribe if you haven't. I really do appreciate it when you do, and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm releasing a new video. But for now, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.